Hi, in this video we'll be getting started with using Dubler in Logic Pro 10. So once you've downloaded and registered the Dubler app, you'll want to click Create New Profile to open up a blank profile. At this point you'll also want to make sure that the Dubler mic is properly connected, and if it is, the logo at the top here will be lit up green. So once this is done, it's time to set up the preferences. So in Logic you want to go to Preferences here and select MIDI first. Now under this MIDI section, go to Inputs and make sure that Dubler is set to On. Next, go to General, make sure that MIDI Remote is set to On and that MIDI channel is set to per channel strip. And this is so you can separate the drum and synth channels. If at any point you're having problems with the MIDI connection, you can also try select Reset All MIDI Drivers here. Next, you want to go to Advanced at the top here and make sure that MIDI and control surfaces are both checked. After this, you want to go to Recording. We're going to go to Recording Project Settings here and make sure that Auto Demix by Channel if multi-track recording is set to On. And this allows you to split the tracks by MIDI channel. So you can close this window, and finally you want to go to the Audio tab and make sure that the buffer size here is set to 128 or below in order to reduce any latency. So now all our settings in Logic are sorted, it's time to set up Dubler properly with Logic to start making music. So if I want to control drums or samples in Logic, I'll first need to set up a few triggers. So make sure to check out our video that goes in depth on how to train triggers, but I'm just going to quickly add a few now for this video. So now I've got the trigger set up. In Logic, I can choose Drum Designer or any other plugin that I want to control. So I'm just going to set up a new software track. I'm just going to select the drum kit at the top here. Once this is done, also in this channel, I want to go to Track here at the top. And from this section, I can select which MIDI channel I want to receive information from. So by default, channel 1 receives MIDI information from the pitch side of Dubler, and channel 10 receives MIDI information from the trigger side of Dubler. So as I'm controlling drums using the triggers, I'm going to select MIDI channel 10. One thing to note also, if you want to make sure at any point that you're not receiving information from one side within Dubler, you can also turn that off at the top here by these slides. But now that's set up, make sure the track is armed by selecting R here, and I can use those train sounds to control this drum kit. If I want to control a pitched instrument, simply select a synth or a plugin on another track that I want to use. So I've got a soft square lead on this one here. And again, in the track section of this channel, I can select the MIDI channel. So now as I want to control a pitched instrument, I'm going to select MIDI channel 1. I'll also want to make sure that Dubler is set up properly. So when controlling pitched instruments, you want to make sure that you're in a key. So to do that in Dubler, I'm just going to select one manually here by going to the key section of the control settings, and I'm just going to put this in a minor pentatonic. But if you want, you can also use the auto key detect feature, which will select a key based on a melody that you can sing in. Make sure to check out our other videos though that go in depth with each part of the pitch and control settings in order to make sure you're getting the most out of Dubler. But now that's set up, I can simply start singing or humming, and make sure that the track is also armed. Da, 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 da. So now we can also look at how to use the control dials in Dubler with Logic. So in Dubler, these 4 control dials at the top, assigned to the vowels R, E, U, and also the last one here for envelope, can each be mapped to any MIDI mappable parameter within Logic. And if I click on one of these, as you can see in the control settings, each have a CC number allocated to them, which you can change if you want by the plus and minus buttons. So in Logic, you want to select the parameter that you want to control. So I've got this filter set up here on that synth channel, and I want to control the cutoff. So I'm just going to move the cutoff dial slightly with the mouse, and then go to the top here, go to Control Surfaces, and select Learn Assignment for Cutoff. And you'll see this box pop up here. Once that's done, you can go to Dubler and select Map next to the relevant vowel that you want to use. So I'm going to select an R vowel. So once that's done, you can see in the input message here that that's set up, and I can click learn. And now you'll hear, as I move from, say, an eval into an R, that cutoff will come up on that synth. If you're having issues with the control dials on MIDI mapping, you can go to Control Surfaces here, go to Controller Assignments, and here the box that we saw before when mapping, which is in Easy View, we can go to Expert View, and make sure that the last part of this value change here is L07, and you can change this manually if you need to. Also, for full rotation of the dial, ensure that mode here is scaled, and also if you want, you can select the minimum and maximum values of the dial if you want, for example, the cutoff to never go below a certain value. So that's the basics of how to get started using Dubler with Logic Pro 10. Make sure to check out our other setup guides and tutorials that go more in depth with each part of Dubler and how to get the most out of it.